if we can begin this in an interactive session, or would you like me to just do a little bit of the structure of CUET if there are new people?
Yes, ma'am, we would like you to come up with your presentation and the structure, and then we will be interactive.
Okay. Okay, so let's do that.
May I introduce you first, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am. Aditi ma'am, please.
Sadhana ma'am, we can't see you.
Yes, so that is deliberate.
Okay.
Okay, but let me just put my camera on for a while and wish you all.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. So good to see you after so many months. Namaskar.
Namaskar, ma'am. Namaskar.
It's my absolute privilege and pleasure to welcome in our midst Dr. Sadhana Parashar, who is no stranger to any of us who have worked at any time with either CBSE or NTA in the field of innovation. I think in the past couple of decades, Sadhana ma'am's name is synonymous with innovation. Anything new that has to be done, anything that has to be done differently, it's she who spearheads it and makes sure that she sort of supports us and empowers us to help her bring in this change. So with her training, we also become change makers. Very grateful to you, ma'am. We are all aware that you have had very busy days and weeks and months, and yet you never say no to come and help us clear the clouds of doubt. And through those cloud clearance, we are able to move ahead and also share this awareness campaign of CUET and help dispel all the doubts and all the questions that arise. Thank you very much, ma'am, for sparing your time to be with us at NPSC. Thank you.
Aditi, you're very kind, and I'm really humbled because you've said such, nice things about me. But with all your permissions, I'd like to switch off the camera so that the PPT shows well. And there is a problem in our network here.
Has ma'am been made the co-host so that she can share?
Yeah, I told Ankit, ma'am will share.
There are a lot of people in the waiting room. They have to be asked to go.
I'm not admitting them because
I'm also
teachers.
not admitting.
Yeah.
No. But Soumya Gulati ma'am is a...
Hi, we can.
Can I?
Yeah.
Okay.
So all of you are aware, I'm sure, that the Common University Entrance Test CUET UG is what we are going to talk about today. Though, of course, we'll be launching PG also in a few days. But today we are going to discuss CUET UG. The audience of which is the grade 12 students, since it is an exit entrance for grade 12 and entry into the higher education of the university stage. Now, NT, I'm sure you're all aware that we do these very high stake examinations like the JEE and the NEET. NEET, the largest offline exam in the world, with almost 16 lakh candidates who take this in a single shift. But all of our others, so our primary mandate is to do computer-based tests, which is CBT. And in all, we do around 45 to 50 exams, some big and some small. And now we are into the third or the fourth cycle of most of our major exams. However, CUET is one of the challenges that we are going to be doing for the first time. And it is extremely challenging because we have close to now 67 universities today, 74 universities with one university being added today. So a total of 74 universities, which has 46 CUs, which is central universities, and the others are deemed universities and private universities, as well as some state universities. So this 74 universities is to give the flexibility and access to a candidate to apply for one, two, many, or all. So there is there is no fee for applying for all the universities. However, the subject combinations are as per their grade 12. But if a university says that you can take any subject for admission into a particular program, then the NTA is offering that a wide basket of almost 9 subject domains and languages that they can take. This is just a little history of the number of candidates that we do every year. If you look at the total at the bottom, you can see that it's huge number of candidates where tests are administered every year. So coming to CUET, we are doing for the UGC. So on the directive of UGC and with the approval of the Ministry of Education, Department of Higher Education, which you know that the Director General, Dr. Vineet Joshi, who's also DGNT, is also the Additional Secretary in MOE. So all our tests that we take up are normally through the approval of the ministry. Now, in this case, of course, why this test came about is because the National Policy on Education has said this. And so as a policy, it is the NEP 2020 and the implementation agency happens to be the NTA. So what is the structure? The structure is that the test pattern is MCQ type, but there are there may be variations in the typology of MCQ. So we have 3 or 4 formats. Simple one like the MCQ, we all know. Then match the following, but again converted into an MCQ. More than one correct answer, which means many statements converted into an MCQ. So these are simple formats. There are 13 languages which we use as medium. Primarily, these are the languages we have been using for professional high-stake exams. So to begin with, these are the languages. The syllabus has been given in section 1A and 1B. So there are a total of, if we count 1B, so these 13 languages in 1A and 1B, there are a total of 33 languages. Section 2 is the syllabus of subjects, the domain-specific subjects, with they are around 27 as of now. And section 3 is the general test. And the registration for these candidates is happening at this particular website, which has been developed by the SAMAT website, which has been developed by Delhi University for the CUET UG and for NTA. And these are some of the countries also where we are doing these 13 cities and countries, and altogether there are 560 cities that we are planning to do this exam in. So the timing of the exam is, as you can see, slot 1 and slot 2. And I'd just like to explain this a little further, because this is something which I feel that some candidates might want more clarification on. We are also starting a counseling service soon. And we have, if in this group there are people from the south, the 4 southern states, then kindly send us the names of counselors. We'll share the link with you, because we have from all the northern states. However, we do not have counselors who are familiar with the 4 South Indian languages. So all the 4 states in the south, kindly, we will share the link with you just now. I'll share it in the group so that, tomorrow we are having an orientation of the counselors, which a DGNTA will be himself addressing, because this is very important that candidates have somebody to go to if they have a query, in addition to the help desk and in addition to the ticket system that we've introduced in summer. So let us look at the slots. A slot 1 allows you to take up to 4 tests, including subjects. So which means that you can take 1 language from section 1A, 2 domain-specific subjects, 2 subjects, which could be in physics, chemistry, for instance, and the general test. Now, why these have been divided into slots is because each test, whether it is language or subject, is for 40 minutes each, and the general test is for 1 hour. So altogether, the slot 1 becomes 3 hours and 15 minutes. And if there are PWD candidates, then it becomes 4 hours and 15 minutes. Whereas in slot 2, you can choose one language and a maximum of 4 domain-specific subjects, or 2 languages and 3 domain-specific subjects, which would mean that this becomes 3 hours 45 minutes. And if it is a PWD candidate, then it is 4 hours and 45 minutes. So because of the time, we have kept it into these slots. However, all the subjects will be offered in both the slots. So there is no restriction on which subjects you can choose in slot 1 or slot 2, except for the general test, which is available only in slot 1. Also, another clarification is that if candidates decide to apply for all these 9 languages and options that NTA is providing, then they will not be given both the slots on the same day, because we can't expect a candidate to sit throughout the day just writing tests. So obviously, slot 2 will be, or maybe a day or 2 days later than slot 1. Then these are the 13 languages. The questions to be attempted are 40 out of 50. So all of them are also being tested as language. And the question type is generic, because each board has its own literature textbook. So you can have a core and elective, and Hindi core and elective, and Urdu core and elective. So this is to bypass the fact that there is a literature textbook for all boards, which is different. So we are doing using reading comprehension passages. And so these are the different kinds of passages, and testing comprehension as well as literary aptitude as well as vocabulary through these. And the duration is 45 minutes for each language. Section 1B has these 20 languages, which begin with Arabic, Bodo, Chinese, Dogri, French. And as you can see, there are foreign languages as well as modern Indian languages. And again, 40 questions to be attempted out of 50, and language to be tested in the same way, and it is for 45 minutes. And these are the subjects. There may be more subjects added, especially the skill-based subjects, which we will know in a few days. But if you see accountancy and bookkeeping, that only means that accountancy is called bookkeeping in a particular board. So I think in this case, it is Bihar board. And anthropology is a subject in Assam board, so it has been added. Environmental sciences is a subject at 11-12 in ICSE, so it has been added. And all these slashes are that it is called something else in a different board. Now, out of all these subjects, there are a few subjects like computer science and information practices, where the first section will be common and have 15 questions. Second section will be divided into B1 and B2 with 35 questions each. Similarly, maths and applied mathematics, it will be, so section A will have 15, and then B1 and B2, and candidates can choose one option. There are some of these subjects which have a structure like this. So performing arts and teaching aptitude, which candidates are taking for integrated MA, integrated MSc, and B.Ed. So it's basically a kind of B.Ed program, or spread over 5 years, or in some cases, it's just a BA program. And then there are candidates who had asked, so we had a query saying that they want to take education. Now, education is what teaching aptitude is. So the first section has on educational theory, 15 questions, and then B again is divided into all of this. So they can choose any 1, 2, or 3, depending on what they would like to teach at the school level. Then this is the general test, and this is 1 hour test, and 60 questions to be attempted out of 75. As you can see that there is a lot of choice, overall choice. Now that has been provided because there has been deletion in the syllabi across various boards. So there was no way for us to know which portions have been deleted, and we have not done that exercise. So this overall choice has been provided. And the syllabus of this general test is again generic in nature. And that is because a lot of universities are using this generic test for admitting students into vocational or going from, let's say, the science stream to the humanities stream, or as in case of JNU with English and taking this general test, they can be granted admission into their foreign languages courses like Japanese, Chinese, Russian, etc., Italian. So choosing tests from each section is not mandatory. There is complete flexibility whether you want to take 2 tests, 3 tests, or 4 tests, but what you are taking is based on the eligibility laid down in the eligibility criteria, and the mapping has been provided in Samarth. So this is the Samarth website. It's an online platform, as you can see. And some of the new things we've added is DigiLocker, where the documents will be kept or fetched, and then the admit card, the scorecard, the confirmation page can be downloaded in real time. Umang is another app which is used for, just like WhatsApp, it can be used for sending messages to candidates. And I'm sure all of you by now must have gone to this website, and so the navigation takes you, it is quite easily done. And so there is registration, then filling in the application form, the document upload. There were some initial hiccups, but by now it is smooth. So one of the things, the feedback that we got, that candidates are finding it difficult to upload the class 10 mark sheet, so that was dropped. Now, so they are doing these uploadings, but the class 10 mark sheet has been removed, then fee payment, and then finally confirmation. And there are some on NTA YouTube channel, there are 1 or 2 videos for the candidates on how to fill this application form, which are also useful. They can see that. And this is the information bulletin, which as educators, heads of schools, I think you should download and read, because that's where we put all the information. It is a little dense, but then the information needs to be there. And this is one of the corrigendum that has come after that on the 18th of April. That is because this, I just said that upload image, so is dropped. They don't need to upload the class 10 or equivalent form. And these are the universities, participating universities. If you click on any one of these universities, you can actually go to the university website and you'll find a link to the Samarth platform. You will also find the mapping on the Samarth platform. So this is Aligarh Muslim University. As you can see, the program or the course being offered, maybe it is difficult for you to read. So if it is B vocational, they're saying you can take English, what is this?
Production technology.
Production technology, then it is English, physics, chemistry, biology, and mathematics. So these are the subjects that the candidates have to take, which means that they can take in slot 1 English and physics, chemistry, and bio and maths they can take in slot 2. Similarly, this is the University of Delhi. And in case of BA Honors English, because there was a question there. So, for BA Honors English or BA Honors Hindi, what they're saying is you can take English, and then they've divided there is a list on the DU website and in the information bulletin, which has major subjects and minor subjects. So they've called it B1 and B2. And for most of the courses, they are saying that you can take any 2 subjects from 1 subject from B1, which is the major subject, and 2 subjects from B2. So the eligibility conditions of DU are defined, and what we are finding from the candidate data that we are studying is that for DU, most candidates are going for slot 2 because they need to take 1 language and they need to take 3 subjects. These are the 2 lists of DU where they've clubbed all the languages together. They are calling it list A. And then these are the major subjects in list B1, and then the other subjects in list B2. This is one example of DU. Another example of BA Honors in Carnatic Music. So they are saying you can take anyone, performing arts plus any 2 from section 2 or anyone from section 1. And then when they give their, so they are saying that you take any 1 language from list A plus performing arts from list B2, any 2 subjects out of which 1 should be from list B1, or there's another combination, any 1 language from list A. List A for DU is this one. And then they're saying that you take any 1 subject from either list B1 or list B2, plus the general test. So there are these various combinations that a candidate can take if they want to go into the BA program. Or the Carnatic music. So since this is a skill-based course, so 50% weightage is to the combined CUET score and 50 performance-based score is 50% weightage. So CUET score has further been defined, the best score obtained from any one of the above mentioned combinations of subjects. So these are the way that the candidate can select the subjects from this battery of tests that is available. And here you can upload the documents. This is the final review page and this is the confirmation page. Suppose at some point of time they want to edit their subjects, that is also available, and then they will get another confirmation page called the updated confirmation page. So why? So we have a frequently asked questions, a document of almost 100 questions that we put in. And so why are we saying that it does not require any extra effort on the part of a student? Because CUET is going to be based on grade 12. What they are studying for the board exam, same thing they will study for CUET. And also the teachers who are coming from a lot of your schools are being oriented and are being told that they need to make 80% of middle level questions, moderate questions, because this is not an elimination exam or a high stake exam, unlike NEET and JEE. So it's meant for university entrance. So there is going to be a difference in the typology and the difficulty level of the questions. And why does it undermine the board? Why it does not undermine the board of the state board exam? So I have been giving this example to many groups of heads of schools that, initially it might sound like that the relevance has gone away. But if all of you know that when we prepare students for grade 12, then our focus is entirely on scoring well in the board exam. So we have, sometimes a first pre-board, second pre-board, third pre-board, and which is pitched at a very high level. And most students and their parents are so stressed preparing for those pre-boards, because finally we would want each candidate of our school to do well in the exam and thereby get a, which is good for the school, it is good for the parents, for the student. Now, I don't know if you've seen, but if you go to the NCERT website, there is a beautiful document, a very meaningful, very insightful document called Learning Outcomes for the Higher Secondary Stage, which I'm sure nobody looks at, because the objective is not to do experiential activities in grade 12, but to focus on how to get the maximum marks. So I suggest that the first thing we do is that in our in-house meeting, we just look at that document, just look at it, study it, and you'll realize that these are the things which should actually be happening in grade 12, and for that matter in grade 10, and for that matter in each class. So if we translate that into actual learning, then it leads to embedded deep learning, and not just superficial learning, which is for a particular exam. So how is it favorable? So we are saying there are many things. So there is Urmi Sudhakar. Could you please mute yourself? Okay. I go back to the PPT. So I think that more or less completes what I wanted to say. So if we can have questions, you're welcome to, let's have an interactive session, which will be more interesting.
Ma'am, I picked up a question from YouTube. One child is asking, there are different set of requirement for home science honors and home science pass course maybe. So home science honors, if she is appearing, then she has to appear in physics, chemistry, biology, like that kind of thing. And home science pass, some other requirement, even 3 also she may have to appear.
Yes, so that's right. So that is something which the university defines. So, you know, it will depend if the university wants them to take physics, chemistry, mathematics for home science, that is what they have to apply for. And that would also mean that they should have studied it in grade 12. So there we have no role to play. We are just mapping each university's requirements to the list of subjects that we have. And we are helping the candidate to look at this requirement, also suggesting that after confirming it from the mapping that has been given on the CUET Samarth platform, the NTA platform, they should also go and cross-check with the university, because each university's logo is given there. You can just click on the link and visit the university website.
Yes, ma'am, because this child is from humanities and she wants to pursue her studies in home science. So that's why she is finding it difficult. So she has to do pass course.
Yes.
In
Also,
DU, if she wants to do.
Yes, exactly. So that's another point, that if it is in DU, maybe they have this condition, but if she wants, you know, some candidates want to go to a particular university irrespective of the program. And some students want to do home science, let's say, irrespective of the university, then I'm sure she can explore home science in other universities. In all the 74 universities, she's sure to find a combination which suits her.
Yes. So any of our esteemed members, if you have queries, you can put it now. I'm just picking up question from YouTube.
Sadhna,
There was,
sorry. Yeah. Aditi, is it okay? Can I come in?
Yes, please go ahead, Marini.
Okay.
Malini, please unmute yourself. Yeah.
Okay. Is it better now?
Yes.
Okay. So, good afternoon, Sadhna ma'am. I'm Malini Narayanan, the principal of the Army Public School. Now, ma'am, I have a question. This CUET, when it was announced, they said it's going to be aligned primarily keeping in mind the CBSE curriculum, so the children don't have to worry. Now, we had brought this in to be a level playing field for all the children who are appearing in all these exams and who are aspirants for these 74 universities. A lot of them are going to be from many other boards, right? So if the paper is going to align or be close to CBSE, do you think it would be a level playing field for everyone who's appearing? And of course, we know about, the admission jihad talk that happened, where, a particular state kind of took over all the admissions of Delhi University when it caused a lot of anguish. So I just want to know whether that can be averted by putting in this new exam, which is an additional burden on the children.
So I'll begin with your last sentence if we don't agree, because that is what we are working towards, that it should not be an additional burden on the children. And second thing is that as far as Delhi University is concerned, the CBSE students may be looking at it as a favorite destination. However, the fact is that if you look at, I don't know if you've downloaded the syllabus and taken a close look at the syllabus. So which state are you from, Nalini ji?
Very much in Delhi, ma'am.
Oh, you're in Delhi.
I was concerned, yeah.
Yeah, no, sure. So, but if you were to take a look at we've done this exercise. We have looked at the state textbooks of Maharashtra. We've looked at the state textbooks of Odisha. We've looked at the state textbooks of Rajasthan, of Andhra, and recently of Gujarat. Now, these 5 as a sample, I'm telling you that they are completely a translation of the NCERT textbooks. So this assumption that it is only going to be CBSE, it is not true. However, there are certain subjects which are only there in CBSE. For instance, legal studies. For instance, knowledge, tradition, practices of India. For instance, entrepreneurship. So those will obviously be taken from CBSE because other boards do not have that. But I give you an example that anthropology is only taught in the Assam board. So that has been taken up. Environmental studies, which is a very sought after subject at the higher education level, has been taken from ICSE. So, and then the fact that we are doing it in these 13 languages, so that is the idea, doing it in 560 cities, so that every city, otherwise our exams used to be held in around 250 maximum cities. By taking all the aspirational districts into the zone of this exam, we are reaching out to the candidate in a rural and remote area. We are reaching out to the candidate in all state boards. And that is how it is a level playing field.
Okay. I think we'll pick up the next question and I'll come back to you again with another one.
Sure.
Sudha, you are muted. Sudha ma'am, you're muted.
In YouTube, Aditi ma'am, you also can see a teacher or student, I don't know, Sapna Agarwal, she is asking, in accounts, CBSE has given a choice to students between cash flow and statements, database accounting like math, section 1 and section B choices we always get. Is it there in CUET, need to be introduced in accountancy also, or it is compulsory? She has got a lot of choice, confusion here.
So, for any such candidate who is looking at this, there is a wide choice. So when we are saying you will do 40 questions out of 50, that takes care of the deletions which are done across various boards or the option that they have. And then the syllabus is there. So a candidate, if they look at the syllabus and know that there is going to be this, overall choice of 10 questions is a lot of choice. I think they will be quite okay with it.
Can I ask a question?
Yes, of course.
So there is one question also from YouTube which says, if we select more than the required number of subjects, our best score will be considered, right? Now, I don't understand what does a person mean by more than the required number? The maximum papers you can take are 9.
So Aditi, let me tell you what I mean by that. So suppose a candidate is applying only for DU. Then as I said, as an example, they are just taking slot 2, they're taking one language and those 3 subjects. That's
3 domains, yes.
So they are done then, if it is just DU they want to get into. Now there are candidates who would like to keep their options wide open. They can take all the 7 or 8 or 9 combinations. The question is that after that, will DU look at the best score? So that is something that we are in process with, and I'm sure DU will do that because that is what it has always done in the past. However, we are in correspondence with them. So suppose a candidate has taken more than the number of subjects, and somewhere in the information bulletin that they have on their website, they have written this also, that it will be the best out of their score of, so all the subjects that a candidate takes, like including languages or general test, will be on a single scorecard. So they can take the best of the lot. Of course, it should be within the zone of consideration as far as the eligibility is concerned. And there is quite a lot of flexibility because they're not defining subjects in a lot of courses. They're just saying that 1 may be taken from the B1 list, which is major subjects, and 2 may be taken from the other list, and 1 language. Aditi, does that answer?
Yes, it does. Thank you.
One more child is asking BMS course. Aditi ma'am, can you read that question? BMS, Business Management Studies. Here the requirement is language plus maths plus third part. So he's getting little this thing, I am not tested on my subject domains, only maths is tested.
So yes, that's right. So then you can tell the candidate that he can look at where else BBA is available and then apply there as well. And here, if it is just maths and general tests, then they can take that. So, there's no restriction on applying on the number of universities. It is meant for a wider choice.
Yes, ma'am. Generally, we are getting questions from Delhi students, no? So that's why these are all Delhi University centric questions. Whatever is the requirement of Delhi University, they are dealing with that only. Any other person, esteemed member, you want to ask question? Sanjay is there, Tanya, Rashmi.
Ma'am, one more thing.
Yeah.
For students doing applied maths, if they now wish to appear for the maths exam in the domain subject, because
This is
there's
a
no
valid
applied
question,
maths.
Aditi ma'am. Please go on.
So there is no applied maths as one of the domain subjects. Can a student who has not studied maths apply for that, take that as one of the subjects?
So there is Aditi, so there is maths and then / applied maths. And when I was explaining, I said that here section A will be 15 compulsory questions from both these domains, and the same paper will have two options, one for mathematics, one for applied mathematics, and they can choose either one of them. That's how the structure of the paper is. Applied mathematics is there.
Okay.
And as your second part of the question, that suppose they've not studied it at grade 12. Now that again completely depends on the university for which they apply. So like example being JNU. So JNU, if you want to apply in any of the languages, you needn't have studied that language at grade 12. You can just take English and you can take the general test, which is section 3. And you can, so it depends on which university, which program you're applying for.
Okay.
Aditi, if I can come in.
Yes,
Dr. Parashar, Malini again. I just wanted to know about the validity of the CUET test score. Would there be any scope for the children to put this in that promised repository where they said your credit scores can be stored and you can use it at that later date? If the candidate appears in the CUET and decides not to join a particular course at this point in time, can he put it in his credit bank and use it later at some later date?
I need to unmute. So yeah, that's a good idea. That's a very good idea. But right now, no. But then if we look at the NAP, they are saying that it should be held twice a year. When some such thing happens in the future, then maybe this proposal can also be thought of. But since right now it is just once a year, and so it'll probably be repeated only next year. But coming from this, you can send this as a suggestion, and we can take it further.
Okay.
From the NPSC. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
One
From
question
next year onwards, it is said that CUET will be conducted twice in a year, ma'am.
Right now, we haven't taken a decision on that, but as things fold, we'll see.
There is a constant question coming. It's come about 40 times already. Is there negative marking?
Yes.
Yes, there is negative marking, and why that is there is because it is as per the decision of the UGC. The NTA does an examination on behalf of some organization or agency. Now, the UGC wanted that there should be negative marking, so the negative marking has been added. Also, their point was that otherwise it leads to a lot of guesswork. And with negative marking, candidates will be slightly more careful in their marks. And then that bunching that happens at the different levels, that will also slightly be reduced.
One more question is correction, ma'am. Aditi ma'am, can you see that question? How can we make corrections in already filled up form? 4 to 5 times
yes,
children are asking.
probably they filled up the form and they realized now that they made some mistakes.
Yeah.
So is it possible to edit this form, ma'am? Sadhna, ma'am?
Yeah, Sagar is going to answer. He's the one who's looking after the platform. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, ma'am, will be announcing the correction window soon. So there will be an option to the candidates where they can edit the subjects. And later on, they can also edit some of their information, but not the demographic information.
Okay.
Okay.
So Mr. Deep Sharma has got his answer.
Yeah, Aditi ma'am, one more question. I have applied for only one domain subject in slot 1 and 3 domain subjects in second slot. Is this okay, or have I made a mistake?
I think for DU, this is what is required.
So no, for DU, a lot of them are just taking the second slot. So which means that one language and 3 subjects chosen from the 2 lists.
Exactly.
However, in addition to that, if someone wants to take the general test also, which is in slot 1, they can do that. So, and as I said, that the slot doesn't mean that the 2 slots will be given on the same day. They may be given with a gap of 1 day, because otherwise it becomes too long for a candidate to sit and write.
That is again another question. If a child is appearing for 6 domains, how they can divide these 6 domain subjects? One day it is impossible to take 6 domains.
No. So the slot 1 allows you only 2 domain subjects. Slot 2 allows you 4 or 3, depending on how many languages you are taking. And these slots will not be given to you on the same day. They will be given. So it is like, it will be done through computer programming. And so they will automatically be.
Yeah. Adit ma'am, you had a question about journalism. What subject domains child
Yes,
has to take?
for mass communication and
Yeah.
journalism, what are the domain subjects for if somebody wants to apply for that?
So it depends on the university again. You may have put in some, yeah. So there you have to look at the mapping of a particular university.
And is the general test mandatory? That's also coming again and again.
No, it is not. It is only meant for cancer, like BHU, for instance. There are a lot of courses it's taking admission in with the general test. So it depends again on the university that you're applying for and the program that you're applying for. As far as NTA is concerned, there's nothing mandatory or compulsory.
Anyone, any other person wants to ask question? Any other member? Please go ahead.
Yeah, Sadhna ma'am, Sudha ma'am, if I may ask a
Yeah,
question.
Malika, please go ahead.
Good afternoon, Sadhna ma'am. Thank you so much for clarifying these points. I just want one more clarification, because when these students used to fill the admission forms, so they used to fill the form and select around 15-20 subjects they would like to apply for. Now, with the entrance exam, is it still possible, or they can apply only for the subjects which they are choosing to write the entrance exam? Or still they can go for 10 different subjects, and based on the percentage, they can select any subject for their graduation course?
Ma'am, I would like to answer this question. So basically the thing is, student can select any of the subject. However, it depends upon the program of the respective university in which they want to take the admission. So we have given a maximum choice of 9 subjects or tests. So student can select from that. And it is not necessarily that the subject has to be studied at grade 12, but it obviously it is related to the program eligibility of the respective university. If university has specified that they have to study the subject at grade 12, then they need to select accordingly.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any other member, Rashmi or Tanya?
Good afternoon, Sadhna ma'am, Sudha ma'am, and all other distinguished principals here. I just have compliments to it for NTA for taking this initiative, because this was much needed in today's time where there's so much of confusion about admission, what's going on. But then, yes, there was supposed to be some standardized testing which was supposed to happen. And the entire NTA team is doing a commendable job, and the kind of facility which the children are getting on one particular portal is amazing. And I would always say all the best to all the students and the principals and the teachers too, that this time, the admission should be very smooth for all the students. So thank you so very much for taking this initiative, ma'am.
Thank you. We need blessings like this.
Rajiv, if you have any question, Sadhna ma'am, Rajiv is from Oman.
Yes, I know. He was there yesterday as well.
Yes, an action committee also.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am. And
evening.
thank you very much, ma'am. Only one query one of our students has is, they are saying, ma'am, that though the site says that we can fill the form and everything, but the parents are insisting us to go for coaching for this time, whereas you all are saying that we don't need coaching. Because we did the orientation, we said that you don't need coaching, you're supposed to do only class 12 syllabus. But can some official statement come saying that the class 12 syllabus is enough, something that kind, so that the parents don't insist the students to go for coaching. And since you have announced, ma'am, that is come too much of their pressure, many people have started giving the courses, crash courses for training and all those things, ma'am.
Rajeshji, I will, of course, we are saying, and there is absolutely no need, but how to convince the parents, I'll have a personal discussion with you.
Sure, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. And thank you very much, ma'am. Thanks for that.
One child is asking, what are the domain subjects I have to apply for other than commercial arts if I have to make my career in the field of commercial arts?
So, he has to first select commercial art and then go to the universities which offer commercial art and then look at the eligibility conditions and then apply accordingly. See, this candidate is an example of somebody who's focused on the subject that he wants to do, the program that he wants to do. So there can be others who are focused on certain universities, but he is very clear, he or she, this candidate is very clear that they want to do commercial art.
Yes. Even Aditi ma'am, आपका question भी इसमें आया है mass communication का, आप देखो. I want to do mass
Fine arts का
communication.
भी आ रहा है, mass comm का भी आ रहा है.
Yes, there is a need to apply for mass communication examination, but I don't have mass communication in my subject as my subject in class 12. So can I apply for it?
So, there will be universities which will say, okay, for mass comm, you can take the general test. Again, he needs to go and explore the university.
University wise.
Yeah, that's why we are not stopping. Even today, a university joined, and we, so today, which was it, Manasthani, or is it? Two universities have joined today, and we're just letting them join, even though we may not have time to do the mapping, to just, extend the flexibility for a candidate.
One question is very common, repeatedly coming. Tell us something about BSc Mathematics. I don't understand what they want to know. Repeatedly it is coming, Aditi ma'am, you see. Tell us something about BSc Mathematics. Is it mathematics pass or honors or something?
Yeah.
I didn't pick up that question, but I think it's just coming again and again. And it could be a bot.
Yeah.
So, Sudha, can I come in for the last?
Yes, please.
Dr. Sadhana, let me play the devil's advocate today. And this is the third question towards that. I just want to know if CUET can be a differentiator if we are only looking at MCQ questions. What happens to the beautiful subjective papers that the children have appeared in the CBSE? And the CBSE subjective question technique and everything that the child has invested in has been relegated, and now we are again testing them on an MCQ mode. Would it be a true differentiator?
Yeah, I would little bit add to Malini's question also, how the social sciences, like we are talking about creative expression, comprehension, understanding and all. Maybe MCQ is good for physics, chemistry and physical sciences. How, ma'am, you tell us, how would you assess individual uniqueness of every child in social sciences through MCQ based test?
Yeah, so those are questions which are good. And I think you have 11 years of schooling to hone their skills as far as creativity and, lateral thinking and all of those are concerned. But when it comes to a test like this, which has to be standardized, it's not that descriptive questions cannot be marked. There is now technology available to do the on-screen marking of descriptive type of questions. And maybe sometime in the future, we may do that. But given the situation now, and given the situation that it is for the first time, we are hoping that we will be able to make some case study kind of questions And that is why we've also added comprehension passages in almost all our, subjects, especially the social sciences. Now, how we are able to do the quality of the question, that will depend a lot on how much we are able to train the teachers who are doing this. Because for all our other exams, we have people from higher education, and since they have been working with us for quite some time now, they're aware of the kind of questions we have. And the formats are not restrictive, they are quite open. But the fact that even in subjects, if you remember the PSA, the problem solving assessment, so it is, if not this year, next year, definitely we would want to move to that kind of model. So that is much more challenging than even looking at just pure descriptive answers.
Ma'am, one more question has come. Ma'am, I am a commerce student. I looked at the due eligibility for BSc Computer Science. It is maths and 2 domains. I have maths. Can I apply for BSc Computer Science? He's a commerce student.
So it depends on what the university.
Which university?
Yeah, which university and what they're saying in their mapping.
Yeah, he's talking about DU, I think.
So then they need to, download. The mapping has been given. Even if you scroll down the Samarth website, you can see the mapping. But if they want to be clearer, they want to further reinforce their understanding, they should download the information bulletin from the DU website and look at these individual programs. So kindly advise students who are asking you.
Yeah. Ma'am, one more question, like Sukhdev College for BBA courses, the students who wants to apply there, would they have to go through CUET or they have their own entrance test?
So all the affiliated colleges of most of the universities are also covered by the Central University. So it's not possible for us to answer individual questions, but that is the general policy.
Okay.
So all those questions which are coming up, that can we apply for this, can we apply for that? I think Sadhna ma'am's instruction is quite clear. Go to the university, see the drop down, see which subject you want to opt for, and there'll be specific requirements. It will be different across universities. You have to see for which subject, which university wants what combination, what domains.
Yeah, children are little getting confused. I don't have legal studies in class 12. Can I apply for law? Request you to revert. That kind of questions are coming repeatedly. So they have to check university, what they want and what is their requirement, isn't it?
I think last question, Sadhna ma'am.
Sure. So Aditi, I think you answered it just now.
Yeah,
that I've answered on your behalf. But I'm just saying, now they're asking, are you going to offer practice test sessions? I think for those who do not want to get into the trap of coaching institutes, they would appreciate, I think, some practice test sessions or some mock
we are going to. Yes, Aditi, within a day or two, we are putting in mock practice questions in all subjects, which they will be able to practice. They will get an idea of what we mean, what kind of questions there are. And I think that will remove a lot of, fear that
cobwebs.
Thank you.
Any other member wants to ask question? We have picked up most of the questions which came on YouTube repeatedly. But again, same, Aditi ma'am, same kind of question.
They're all coming
which we have answered.
Yes.
Any other member wants to ask question? Because same kind of questions are coming on YouTube. Aarti ma'am?
Yeah, very good evening. Good evening, Sadhna ji. Generally, this is the question put forward by the parents. Children are getting highly stressed because they have, on one hand, the boards to face, and on the other hand, they're getting the deadlines for university entrance. How should we pacify them as school leaders? And
so I think, once the mock practice questions come and you get them to do it in class, they will realize that there is absolutely no need, because it is right from what they are studying right now. So whether it is preparing for the board exam or it is preparing for the CUET, it's almost the same thing.
Almost the same,
So
right.
and we were hoping it would be out by this week, but it's just taken a little longer. Definitely early next week they will be available on our website and on the Samak website.
All right.
And you can put it on your websites also, so that there is wider, yes.
Right. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Do we have more number of questions?
So I have something else coming up. Is it possible if we can wind up and you can send
Yes,
us the
ma'am.
questions?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Sudhaji and Aditi ji, I would request you, any kind
We'll do
of
that.
queries that you have, please send it to us and we will add it to the FAQs.
Perfect.
Yes,
We'll do
ma'am.
that.
Yes, ma'am. We can do that. Thank you very much, Sadhana ma'am, for coming in, sparing some of your quality time and clarifying so many doubts on behalf of our teachers and students. Today, I think Pan India, we shared the link to 1250 schools of our National Sahodaya Committee. They are all participating. We'll share this session to them also, and all NPSC schools. So it is highly beneficial. I am sure that most of our doubts have been clarified. A lot of students are asking same repetitive question as Aditi ma'am clarified that. You have to go to particular university where you want to pursue your education and see what is the requirement. As per their requirement, you can select your subject domains. So Sadhana ma'am, your presentation was very, very useful, and I know a lot of confusion, how we can correct. If we have filled up the form, how we can correct, that also you have clarified. We are all waiting eagerly for the mock practice test, for which again our teachers are participating. They are also contributing their own questions. So we are eagerly waiting for that. And thank you so much for coming in today and addressing NPSC schools on our platform. We are really grateful to you, Sadhana ma'am, and Mr. Sagar also.
Yes, thank you so much on behalf of Sagar and me. We are also very grateful that you gave us this opportunity. It has been our privilege and our honor. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Namaskar,
Thank
ma'am.
you.